Welcome back in, everybody, to the Chris Mathis podcast. Of course, I'm your host, Chris Mathis. Some of you guys probably reloading your app right now, Spotify or YouTube. Where is the video? Unfortunately, there is no video for this one, as it's going to be strictly audio. As Spencer unable to be here with this recording of the podcast, he texted me about an hour and a half before and said, "Hey, dude, I'm out in Dahlonega. I got lost in the woods for an hour." So I imagine he was going on a hike earlier today and just was unable to make it back in time to record the podcast. So I thought, hey, no video today, simply audio. It's going to be a short and sweet podcast, just catching you guys up on everything that I've been up to. And thank you guys for all the support over the last, February, March, April, May, over the last 4 months since I left North Georgia and moved down here to Tampa. It's been a lot of fun. Really enjoying my time. If you guys do not know, I'm the executive producer of the Pat and Aaron Show, which is a afternoon sports show, 12 to 3 p.m. on 953 WDAE. Each and every day, Monday through Friday, I work with Pat Donovan. He's the host of the show. Aaron Jacobson, the co-host. They work hand in hand. They're phenomenal at what they do. Great guys, and they've taught me a lot, not only about life. You know, they're a little bit older than I am. Not only about life, but also about the business too. And it's been a lot of fun to grow with these guys and just go to work not thinking it's work. You know, I put a lot of work into my craft, no doubt. But when you show up to work and you have fun, it's really not work whatsoever. You don't regret any decision that you ever make, and you just go in with, hey, what exciting can happen today? And so far, we've had a lot of things happen that have been exciting so far in just 4 months here on the Pat and Aaron Show. And this is the Chris Mathis podcast, but I'm talking about my new opportunity down in Tampa. So far, I've gotten to meet Ric Flair in the studio, which was really cool. No, Ric Flair was not on our show. He was on the Beckles and Retcher show, which is from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. The show directly after the Pat and Aaron Show ends, my show. And I had to run the board one day, produce the show for Beckles and Retcher, Ian Beckles, Jay Retcher, and Ric Flair came in as a guest on their show for, I think it was an hour. It was at least half an hour. It might have been an hour. And got to talk with Ric Flair. It was brief, but I got an awesome photo with Ric Flair. You can go find that photo on Instagram at the Chris Mathis and check that out. Super cool moment. And then I guess a little bit over a month and a half ago, when the story broke from PFT that Tom Brady, Buccaneer quarterback, may be leaving the Buccaneers to go play or be in the front office for the Miami Dolphins, when that story broke, I reached out to the guy that leaked that story. You guys probably have heard of him, Pro Football Talk's Mike Florio. I reached out to Mike Florio, did not expect to land him on the show. He came on. Pat and Aaron peppered him with some questions about where he got all the info from. Is there any truth to this? And that was one of the more exciting times of my young career in this business. You can go check out that podcast, that interview with Mike Florio, who broke the news, the big news about Tom Brady potentially going to Miami at some point this offseason after he retired. You can find that on our website, 953WDAE. Search The Pat and Aaron Show. Scroll down to the podcast section and scroll back maybe a month and a half ago, and you'll see PFT's Mike Florio. This week, we actually had Part of the Interruption's Michael Wilbon, co-host of Part of the Interruption. He said a few weeks ago that Tampa Bay was in fact, or the city of Tampa was in fact not a hockey town, and that's a hot take right there. The Tampa Bay Lightning are, I think, the most exciting, most prominent team in the city of Tampa. You look at the amount of people pulling for the Bolts right now in the Stanley Cup Final. There's flags everywhere, lots of blue license plates and flags on cars, stickers everywhere, billboards pulling for the Bolts here in the Tampa Bay area. He said Tampa's not a hockey town, which is a misconception by all means. I totally disagree with him, and we were able to land him on the show earlier this week, a very fresh interview on the Pat and Aaron Show, when we asked Michael Wilbon where he got that from, if he had realized how many Bolts fans there are, even if they struggle, or which they don't really struggle. They've won 2 consecutive Stanley Cups. They're working on their 3rd right now, hoping to three-peat. They did lose Game 1 on Wednesday night, 4-3 in overtime against the Colorado Avalanche, but they look to be back there, and I think they're going to win the series, and I said this since before the series started, that they would win the Stanley Cup Final in 5 games, which I know it sounds crazy. Now they would have to win 4 consecutive games here. I think it's going to happen. It's a hot take. Go ahead and jot that down. And if it doesn't happen, I'll still ride with it and say, hey, I was wrong. But if I get it right, I want all the credit. You guys got to tweet me at the Chris Mathis at TCM_pod to let me know that I was right, because I do know for a fact they're going to win this series. And I do think that they're going to get it done in 5 games. But we'll see. Time will tell. Game 2 is on Saturday. And again, they looked really good there late in the game against the Avalanche until that overtime. And then they had a key turnover, a costly turnover that led to the game-winning goal for the Avalanche. But 4-3 a final in Game 1. Also, since I've been down here, I've been able to go to a lot of Tampa Bay Rays baseball games. Probably 4 or 5 of those I've got to hang out with Pat at a game. He showed me around. Actually, went with my brother to a game against the Yankees. Tampa fell short to New York, of course. Fans were chanting, "Go Yankees," the entire time. It was embarrassing as a Rays fan. But all in all, it was a great time to go to that game. And we also went to the game as an iHeartRadio team, which was cool because who doesn't love a little team chemistry build, and to take a day off from work to go watch baseball? Super fun. On top of that, to put the cherry on top of the ice cream, if you will, is the fact that one of our employees, he had a cowboy hat on. He caught a foul ball on the third base line with his cowboy hat. And that video went viral all over ESPN, Sports Illustrated, CNN, Fox Sports, everywhere. That video went viral for about a week or so. And you could actually see Pat, the host of the Pat and Aaron Show, and myself in that video for a good 7 to 8 seconds. And you can tell it's me. I've got my Mathis 98 Tampa Bay Rays blue jersey on. Super cool. Go find that video. Really neat experience for me. It was my first time being on TV, if you will. It wasn't my doing by any means, but it was cool to have myself in that video. And shout out to our employee who snagged that ball. That was really cool to witness. And Rays outfielder Randy Rosarina had interacted with us throughout the entire game. He gave my friend Mike, who works at the station in sales, he tossed him a ball or two throughout the game and before the game. And even during the game, we were chanting Randy a couple of times, the entire iHeart section. And Randy looked over to us a couple of times and nodded or waved. Super cool experience for me. I think my second or third day at the station went to a Lightning game in the iHeartRadio suite, which is surreal because for those of you that know me personally for years, I've wanted to be in this very building at iHeartRadio Tampa Bay since I was 12 years old, legitimately. And I've worked extremely hard for a shot to even get my foot in the door. I've done that. In my second or third day on the job, we went to a Lightning game, got to sit up in the iHeart suite with the guys from Ronnie and T-Crash show in the morning. They're on from 6 to 9 in the morning on 953 WDAE. That was really cool because they had a fan night. Some fans had won some tickets to go to the game. I got to join the other show and their fans at that Lightning game and just kick back, relax, crack a cold one or two, and say go Bolts a couple times to some fans and meet some great people down here in Tampa. Also, a few months ago, probably about 2.5 months ago at this point, which is crazy to think about, my friend Austin Bryson came down for a weekend. We went to a Lightning game, got to hang out in the suite once more, had a great time, went to the beach. I mean, I always have a good time when I hang out with Austin. He's doing big things back in Georgia, but that was really neat. It's cool to be in a place where people come to vacation because they have an excuse to come and see me. It's, hey, you know what? I can go meet up with Chris when I go down to Florida, or hey, where can I take a quick weekend vacation and kill 2 birds with 1 stone? Go to the beach, maybe see Chris for a little bit, and that's exactly what Austin did. And then this past week, John and April Krieger came down. You guys know Mr. and Mrs. Krieger, Coach Krieger, if you will. They came down, and I got to meet up with them for dinner earlier this week at Hat Tricks. Had some phenomenal wings. Really enjoyed that. But for those of you that do not know, I've been in sports broadcasting for going on 9 years? 8 or 9 years at this point, for sure. Started doing some PA work on weekends for the local rec league at Union County Rec Department, going on 8 or 9 years at this point. This upcoming fall, I'll know it is 9 years. And so I didn't get my first radio opportunity, but I was on a microphone. I didn't get my first radio opportunity until 6.5, going on 7 years ago, in which I starred on a halftime show at WJRB with Jeff Batten. who I was employed with for the longest time. And basically, April Krieger, English teacher at Union County High School, and her husband, John, hooked me up with an opportunity to star on a halftime show my senior year at Union County, to hop on the broadcast for Union County Panther football. And I did. So I joined Jeff, and the rest is history. That's when I first got my opportunity on a microphone on the radio. I served as kind of a halftime guest, color commentator just for that halftime, and the rest is history. Since then, just been looking straight ahead, keep grinding each and every day. And I love what I do. I put in a lot of work, don't get me wrong. A lot of work. Eat, sleep, breathe, sports, and trying to get better each and every day for the Pat and Aaron Show, and trying to be the best producer of a radio show in a big-time market that I can be. And it's just been so fun when I stop and think about it, of how far I've come over the last 8-9 years, and just think, man, everything that you said you would do, you did it, but not because you were talented. It was simply because you worked hard at it, you had a game plan, and you attempted the game plan. Not only did you attempt it, but you executed it and tried to get better each and every day. And I think that anybody out there with a dream, with an idea of what they want in life, they can accomplish anything. You listening right now to this podcast, if you have any dream, even if it seems far-fetched, you can do it. All you have to do, create a plan, find a way to execute the plan, go about it, and then just work through it. You're going to have some times that are bad. You're going to have some ups and downs along the way, but just realize that the highs are extremely rewarding, and that if you work hard at it and stay consistent, most of all, you'll get to where you want. And there's no cap on what age you can start working on a dream, or at what age you can start working towards a dream. You could be 5, 6, 7, 10 years old right now listening to this podcast right here on Spotify or Apple Podcast, and just work hard at what you want. Know what you're passionate about, and go from there. Every story that you go back and hear, every successful story starts off with a failure, or somebody having to work long hours, or go through some difficult times, or be doubted. Every story. There's never one story that's just, that was so easy, and he didn't have to go through any struggle, he or she. You can do whatever you want in life, and my goal in life is, when my time comes on this earth to just say goodbye, this is it. I want people to recognize that I worked hard at what I wanted, and that I was a good promoter and a good person to look up to in terms of go get what you want in life. No excuses. And there's always going to be trials and tribulations that you're going to have to come across and face, and always going to be pitfalls and doubters along the way. But really, at the end of the day, what it comes down to is, how bad do you want it? You right now listening to this very podcast, how bad do you want it? There are no excuses, and excuses are for losers. If you come up with multiple excuses, you're going to get down on yourself. You're going to doubt yourself time and time again. And then before you know it, your dream is irrelevant. It is unachievable. And you might as well just go ahead and move on and do a day-to-day job that you don't want to do. I live and die by that old saying, if you do what you love to do, you're not working. And that's something I want people to realize. Everybody out there right now, again, I know I sound like I'm beating around the bush right now or running in circles, but if you have a dream out there, just go chase it. Worst comes to worst, you try and you so-called fail. But there is no failure, because it's a learning lesson when you don't get what you want or what you thought you wanted. Who knows? You might try and you might so-called fail, but you recognize or realize it wasn't for you, and you find out something else that was for you, and it works out. Or you just go at it and you succeed. Or the third look at it, sorry, I just tapped my mic right there. The third kind of reflection on attempting a dream is, you don't live with regret if you do go out there and you try. As long as you try, you have zero regret, because you do know that you tried and you gave it your all, and you have your answer, your final result of going out, taking that leap. Some people probably think that I was crazy for leaving North Georgia, but I wanted this opportunity for, I guess, 12 years now at this point. I just turned 24 at the end of May, which is crazy to say, but and all I did was just work hard towards it, have a passion, have a great supporting cast that I can't thank enough daily for all their support each and every day. Through good times and bad times, they're always there, and they mean the world to me. But this short podcast was brought to you by Information on Demand. They bring you guys each and every episode of the Chris Mathis podcast. Again, Information on Demand, pre-employment background screening services, offering fast, accurate, and affordable background screening services. Whether you need criminal background checks, drug screenings, E-Verify, academic accreditations, or other screening services, They've got you covered. You can rest easy knowing a highly trained search team will get you the information you need in just 8 hours or less. That's right. Spence says it all the time. Just one night's rest, and you get all the information that you need. Information on demand. They're fast, they're accurate, and they're affordable. Pre-employment background screening services. Give them a call today, 855-914-4636, 855-914-4636, or visit them at informationondemand.net. Again, the Chris Mathis podcast brought to you by informationondemand.net. Tampa Bay Lightning Stanley Cup Final will continue on Saturday. It's Game 2 against the Colorado Avalanche. The Bolts will prevail. They'll win this series in 5 games. Write it down. Tweet me at the Chris Mathis. Follow the podcast at TCM Pod. Spencer says the Bolts will win this series in 6. We'll keep you guys updated on that because Spencer will be back. He has found his way back to Blairsville, and we will be doing a podcast by midweek at the absolute latest. As always, as for Spencer, who's not here today, as for you guys, my fans, my listeners, I appreciate each and every one of you. Go subscribe on YouTube. Go follow this podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcast at the Chris Mathis Podcast, at TCM_pod. Also, better yet, if you want to hear me daily, day to day, each and every day talking about sports, live stream the Pat and Aaron Show via the iHeartRadio app. Simply search 953 WDAE after you download that app, and you can stream us every day, 12 to 3 p.m. It's awesome. That's all I can say. I love Pat and Aaron. They do a phenomenal job on the microphone. They've been awesome for me here in my early career of being an executive producer of a show and a huge market in Tampa. And again, chase your dream out there. We'll talk to you soon. As always, thanks for tuning in.